Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Welcome to the third leg of Object-Oriented Software Engineering. In this leg, we are going to learn about the user interface control and some user interface principles. The purpose of the leg is that you will be using NetBeans to familiarize yourself with creating better user interfaces for your semester project. And the target is to manipulate as much user interface controls as you can in the lab using Java language. So we will at the end also look into some GUI principles. In this video I will be telling you about the model view separation principle. So you must be aware of this principle. What the principle actually says is that your business logic model and your user interface view must be separated from each other. And the controls that we will be covering in this lab are the dashboard, how to create menus, toolbars, understand basic navigations, and some common controls. These are few of them. We may cover some more controls as well. So let's create a new project. Go to a new project, Java and Java application, and let's name it something like UI controls, and let's change its path to a desktop mesh. Now if you notice the application is created without any package, okay, and there is no Java file. So to start with MV principles, model view separation principle, we create our user interface package. We call it UI, and in the UI I can start with creating my first screen. Make sure that you know about the dashboards. So dashboards are usually the front screen that after the application shown to the users. So in the dashboard, usually what you do, you actually show some common states to the user, some to-do action items, and some aggregated or summarized information that the user needs to know about. So to know about the good dashboards, before we proceed, you can go and Google about the images of the dashboard for different applications, and you will be able to find some good interfaces. So let's start with our first form as dashboard. We call it a dashboard, and this is in the user interface package. Okay, so this is our first form. You can maximize it, and the first part, let's start with our controls. So we have created the dashboard, so now we are going to create a menu bar. So for creating the menu bar, you have swing controls. In the swing controls, you can just drag and drop the menu bar. By default, these two menu items are coming. Without changing these values, we can add on new items. For example, another menu item, well, another menu actually, and you can rename it, edit the text. So let's call it like common controls or basic controls. In the basic control, we can navigate to different forms, and on those forms we will be manipulating different controls. So first let's start with simple control. So for the simple control, I will be adding menu item to this item. Just drag on that, and then you can rename it again, and you say that simple controls. Now if you want to add, like when you click it and go to some another form that should open on this, so you just double click and the action perform and it will be auto generated. So let's add for the complicated control as well some other items, menu items. We drag it on the same menu and we rename it to the some complex control. Okay, okay, so we have created two. So one is simple control and another is complex control. Now we want that when we click the simple control, another form should be open. So you just double click on it, and the action perform event is created for you against the control ID, right? So Gemini item 1 was the ID of that control, and this was created. So before filling up some code here, let's create the simple control form here. So create another JFrame form and call it like simple controls and finish. So another form is created. In this form we will be manipulating some simple controls of the swing for creating the interfaces. Let's go back. You can navigate between the source and the design from here. So the simple control, let's go to and open the simple controls form over here. So what should we be doing here is we will create the object of the simple control and then set it to visible true, and the current form like the dashboard should be visible to false. One is this approach, that we don't want to destroy the dashboard object, and another is like you can dispose this object and go to the new object of simple controls. In that case the dashboard object will be totally freed from the memory. Okay, so that is a bad approach. Usually what you should do, you should always keep in memory the main screen, and then you can navigate to the child screen and come back and disposing those child screens. So let's create a new object of simple control. You can control space and we'll create the object with new simple control. And also another important part is here is that you should understand that that simple control should know about its main screen. So we can pass the main screen in the form of this, and the object is created. Now we can set it to set visible false. The simple control constructor is not there, so let's create that simple control of constructor. We can create it from here, like just right click, create constructor. The constructor is created for you, and you should initialize the default component. So, and another important step is that it aggregates the dashboard object, right? So it should be known to the class level so that we can utilize it in the back or going back method. So obj of dashboard, and we initialize this with what we have received here, like this. So now the dashboard object is aggregated in simple controls. So when we are going to go back, we will be using this object. Control is now. Let's go and make it visible true. Dot set visible true. So with this, the new form will be displayed, and we want to hide the dashboard. So you can say this dot set visible false. So this was a simple form of navigation that we have just achieved. To come back from the simple controls, you can also create just a simple button over here, and you can say that okay, go back from here to the main control. Change the text to back and double click on it. So in this method, what we want to do is we want to destroy this object and go back to the main dashboard. So we already have obj dashboard that we have initialized in the constructor dot set visible true. So this will display dashboard, and you want to dispose this object, this dot dispose, and dispose actually destroy this simple calculator object from the memory. Okay, so this will dispose the object. That's it. So now we can just try to run this code and see if it is working or not. So we have run it, and just click on the basic and simple control. So we have come to the simple control screen, and now we want to go back, so we are going to the main dashboard. So this is a simple form of navigation. We have got the menu bar. Now you can add more and more menus or more and more menu items, whatever is the need of your project. So the next part is the toolbar. So let's do the same task with the toolbar. For the toolbar, you also have it in the swing menus. So just drag and drop the toolbar. And you can set up the size same to the menu bar. And now you can put any icons, or so icons can be in the form of a button, and you can put any image on the background of the button. So whatever like these buttons type you want, you can create them here. So let's create a simple button like through which we want to go to a simple control. Okay, so before implementing its action listener, let's rename it. We call it simple control SC. Okay, and let's change its background to something clearly visible. So now in the toolbar, when we click this button, we want to go to the same screen, okay, like the simple calculator. Just click it. Now the UI code reusability is that we want to display the simple control screens, right? So instead of writing the same code over here, make sure that you utilize the UI code as well. So over here you can create a new method, public show simple control. Okay, and the simple control, what we would like to do is exactly the same stuff. Public void show simple control. So now we reload our UI code also from the JButton1, so that it is open again on the same point. Control S. Now we can test it again like that. Now we have a toolbar with the button SC. When you click on the SC, it will display this screen, and now you can click on the back button, you are back to the dashboard screen. So in this code, we have looked into the basic navigation. We saw that simple control is actually aggregating the dashboard control for going back, and we also saw some code usability on the UI side as well. We also discovered the buttons. Now let's do something with the label, text field, and the buttons. Okay, we can do that part in the between, just doing the simple control. What we would like to do is have label over here, and when we click let's also add a text field, like we call it, this will be the name, like your name. So whatever name you typed here should appear in another label when we click some button. Let's do it here. We call it show, and when the show button is clicked, so whatever is typed in this should be shown into another label below it. Now we add the code to manipulate the label, the text field, and of course the action listener will be on this button, JButton2. So now what we can do is we can declare a variable string message equal to j text field 1.getText. We read the message and we want to set it in the second label, j label true dot set text and the message. So let's check it again by running the code. Now you see, type your name or whatever you want to type. So click on the show button and the box is shown on the level. Okay, so whatever you type here, welcome to holes, the result is shown here. So now you are able to manipulate the labels and the text field control. You can also set the values in the text controls by using the set text methods and so on and so forth. And the next, let's work with some complicated control. So right click on the UI package and create another complex controls. We will be trying with the table, okay, J table. So you can see, like, we can break table here. To manipulate complex control like J table, you can search on the internet for this or any complicated control. Okay, for example, you can just search on the J table in NetBeans. Okay, and if you go to the Stack Overflow, this article, or you can see a lot of example, other example as well. So over here it tells you how to basically manipulate the J table. It creates the J table object and set its model. That's it. So the data will be displayed in the table. The first one is the data actually, and the second object is the name of the columns. So you can also learn a lot more about the same complicated control, like just click on the J table or some of these other links. In the J table you can see a lot of details about how to manipulate, how to sort, how to bring controls, how to edit inside the table. So all these details are available here and you can look into that. So back to the code, how I have added it. So let's go to the source code. From the dashboard, I have implemented another complex control method here, and from here I'm going to the complex control, making it false. After going to the complex control, you notice that I have added another method, show table data. So this is actually to display the static data at the moment in that table. So the rest you know already about it. Let me show you. So this is the same code. I have initialized the table model, and the default table model takes two arguments. The first one is the data and the second one is the column names, and then you set the model by providing the model object that you just created, so it will display the data. And another thing that I have done is, now we want to go back to the dashboard from the complex control form and also from the simple control form. So we used to have that code over here, like the back button. Okay, so now instead of having the same code in two places, so I have created another helper class, UI helper, with a method to back to dashboard. Okay, and I am passing the dashboard object and the current screen. So what is the implementation? Just click on it and it accepts a JFrame. You will not explicitly accept complex control or simple control, but just the parent class, the JFrame, and also the dashboard object. So the same code can here now I can reutilize this code from both forms. Okay, so even in the complex code, now when you click on the back code, so I'm calling the same method. Okay, do a helper dot back to dashboard. So this is a new way of utilizing the UI code from across multiple forms. Okay, and let me run it again, how the data is shown in the table. So now I'm going to complex control, and you see the data is here. Okay, so this is the ID column, this is the name column, and the data is You can select the column, you can delete any selected cell on which you have clicked or the selected row, and you can manipulate it. So for the rest I will leave it for you and the other controls. So now your task is to explore the rest of the controls. For example, these button groups like radio button should be added to the button groups, and then one radio button will get selected. And also try the rest of the controls. These are the common controls, swing controls, and you can also like use some containers uh, to separate the concern of the UI, like for personal details, educational details, and so on and so forth, right, for the student form. And these are some other controls. So try to use all these swing controls in this application, and you can add more and more forms. The code I will make it available on the GitHub. You can sync it and you can add more example to it. So just to summarize, in this lab we learn about the model view separation principle. We created the UI package and some common UI controls, like how to create the dashboard, how to create menu bars and toolbars, and then some basic navigation using the aggregated approach. You can also use, like, instead of passing the dashboard object to the simple and complex forms, instead of that you can declare a global variable and then access it from anywhere instead of aggregating it to the child classes. And then we looked into the how to manipulate the buttons, labels, text fields, and also we looked into one simple one complex control, the tables, how to propagate it in the table. So there is a task. Last part in this slide is to know about the user interface principles. So you have to search on the internet about 10 UI principles, and then create a document with those 10 principles and submit it on the subject expert task. Let me show you where you have to submit object oriented software engineering labs. In the lab you have this third lab that we are doing it now, and we have covered the first some of these. So when you click on the lecture task, so in the lecture task, this top 10 GUI creation principles, so you will have to submit against this, and also you will have to review the principles submitted by two other students, what new principles he identified and what new principles you want to tell to him. So that will be done in your review. There is no review at the moment, but will someone submit it, so you will be asked about those new principles or what you want to suggest to him. Okay, that's it for today lab.